Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna sayyidana wa sanadana wa habibana wa maulana Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب زدني علما وارزقني فهما. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome, mashallah, to our live health show coming to you from Iqra Studios here in Bradford, West Yorkshire. Alhamdulillah, I hope you've had a very good Jummah, inshallah. You've read plenty of salawat upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you have read your Surah Kahf, inshallah ta'ala. We've got maybe 2.5 hours till Maghrib Salat, inshallah, and this is the time of dua, time of munajat, asking Allah Ta'ala, begging Allah Ta'ala for His mercy, and asking Allah to, fulfill your needs. Whoever doesn't ask Allah Ta'ala, Allah becomes naraz with him. Ajib. Allah Ta'ala is amazing. In the dunya, you ask person once, maybe twice, he'll be happy. Third, fourth, fifth time, he gets so, or she gets so annoyed, and they say, why do you keep asking me? And yet Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says that if you don't ask me, I get angry with you. The only problem is we don't ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We don't ask. And then on Friday, in the Hadith Sharif, it says, the mafhum is that there is a small amount of time. In one Hadith, Nabi Kareem actually shows that a small amount of time where a person who asks Allah Ta'ala for whatever his need is, Allah will give. And there's different opinions on this. Some say there's 30 different times. One of the strongest positions is the time before Maghrib, mashallah, between Asr and Maghrib. So very important to ask Allah Ta'ala. My friends, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in His infinite wisdom, has created illnesses. Through illnesses, a person becomes close to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Through illnesses, a person does tawbah to Allah. Through illnesses, a person prepares to meet Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Through illnesses, a person who is wrapped up in the dunya and thinking that he will be here forever, and thinking he will never leave the dunya, thinking his ambitions will all be completed. A person through illness, he has a reality check. She realizes that we're not here on the earth forever, and the ambitions they may have, these ambitions are no guarantee that a person will live long enough to fulfill them. Illnesses are also an expiation, a kafara for a believer. Mafhum or hadith of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a nation which has been shown mercy to. Ummatum marhuma, a nation which has received mercy. And the hadith says, "Laysa lahum azabun fil akhirah." Inshallah, there's no azab for this ummah in the next life. Their punishment will be in the forms of zalazil, earthquakes and illnesses and musibats. May Allah Ta'ala be pleased with us. May Allah Ta'ala give us ability to, if we are tested, and we ask Allah not to test us, and if we are tested, may Allah give us the ability to be at peace with this test, to be at peace with this test, to be resigned to the will of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, which is the true calling of a true believer. When anything befalls him, قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا لِهِ رَاجِعُونَ. They say these words, that to Allah we belong and to Allah we return. A person who tries their best in achieving things, but whatever comes to pass, they are happy that this is the ultimate decision of Allah Ta'ala. So my friends, illnesses, especially in this day and age, there's amazingly, complicated illnesses, baffling illnesses even. And this is an age where 99% of illnesses, there's no cure, just palliation, that you take the medications and your symptoms hopefully are palliated. They're still there, but you are not affected by them. And that's most of the illnesses in this day and age. Most illnesses are chronic, and most are only being palliated. There's no cure in the modern medicine. Let me repeat that. For most illnesses, there's no cure. That's the common cold, that's the headache, that's your rheumatism, that's your arthritis, that's your, type 1 diabetes, some even type 2 diabetes. From your GP's perspective, that's your heart disease, that's your high cholesterol levels. Okay, cholesterol levels may be a different one. If you have a change of lifestyle, you can change. But most illnesses, dementia, Alzheimer's, and a whole host of other illnesses, if you go to your GP will just give you various palliative medications which are there just to palliate symptoms. And that's not because your GP is a kind of a cruel personality. No, it's because that's all modern medicine have. And to add to that, there's a £165 billion NHS budget every year, 165 billion. And you, if you're like the common person, you will struggle to see your GP, struggle to make an appointment to see your GP. And when you go to your GP will say, okay, now you talked about your head, please make another appointment to talk about your legs. And if you've got other issues, another appointment for that. And you struggle now to receive basic things like vitamin D injections, B12 injections, serum ferritin injections, things that were basically, you could have very, very easily in the past because they were available. Now, as the budget of the NHS has increased, certainly the inner cities that I serve, where my patients are from, their needs are increasingly not being met. Yeah, many things are now being taken off prescription and you can buy yourself. So it's not a good scenario, not good circumstances, and especially when it comes to the health parameters, all the negative health parameters are rising up. People are becoming more and more ill, and it's a time where you have to learn about your health and how to improve it with your own initiative. They don't teach you this in school. Your GP certainly doesn't teach it. It's people like myself and others who tried their best to, there's very, very good, mashallah, holistic naturopathic practitioners who try their best to educate people. And alhamdulillah, they are making a significant progress. May Allah give them tawfiq. So my friends, every illness has a cure, apart from old age and old age related illnesses. One may be Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is, you've heard of dementia, where people forget. They forget their name, they forget where they live, they forget who their husbands are, and vice versa. They don't realize who their children are. They sometimes don't know who they are. Dementia. One of the main causes of dementia is Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is a progressive brain deterioration, a disease in which the brain cells, nerve cells die and causes a person to be very, very forgetful in so many things. Alzheimer's. So apart from Alzheimer's and one or two other things, most illnesses can be cured. So anything which is to do with old age, haram, the hadith says, there's no cure for that. Because Allah has not made us forever in the dunya. Allah has made us for a certain time. And when that time is reached, our soul leaves this dunya to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fall in sajda in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to take the place in Illiyin, inshaAllah, and wait there like a waiting station. Maybe meet your cousins and see how they are. The grave will open for you and you'll see your place in paradise. You'll enjoy the fragrances of paradise. You'll see the amazing valleys of paradise, inshallah, and you will go to sleep until the sur, the trumpet is blown, and then you'll be awakened, and then you'll be taken to the plane of resurrection. May Allah have mercy on us at all stages, and especially at that stage. So that is yet to come. But before that, if you fall ill, there is every chance and you should have every hope to be able to cure that. It's just unfortunate that in this modern medicine, the modern paradigm, you don't have any kind of, people are finding it increasingly difficult to have their needs met, number one. And number two, they are becoming despondent and hopeless of finding cure. So mashallah, they're returning back to the roots of natural medicine, naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, herbal medicine, nutrition, and they are making, indeed, these industries are making great strides in helping people. And nowadays, mashallah, people are visiting their naturopathic practitioners, homeopathic practitioners in droves. The numbers are rising every year because people are frankly sick and tired of their needs not being met by their GPs. Alhamdulillah. So today, and inshallah subsequently, we're going to go through homeopathic remedies every week by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously, sometimes I have Jumas which are out of the city and I come back late. So on them days, inshallah, we're going to do recordings. So maybe 1 week out of every 3-4 weeks, there may be recording. But generally, these shows are live. You can call in if you want to call in. You can leave messages with Adil, inshallah, and we can either answer them there and then or for next week, inshallah. So today I'm going to speak two things today, inshallah, time permitting and Allah Ta'ala giving me tawfiq permitting. Number one, I'm going to go through a remedy called Alumina. Alumina is an amazing remedy. It's very good for people who have mental disorders, who have forgetfulness, have symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia. They can have constipation. They have, hysteria almost. We'll go through this in depth. The 5-6 main things. Is a very good remedy for dry eczema as well, for constipation, for mental imbalances. It's a very good remedy for kind of female discharges. It's very good for which are corrosive. We'll go through this inshallah, and then we'll go through which is something I should have done a few weeks ago, the 21 habits of happy people. 21 habits of happy people. I'm sure you're all happy people. May Allah keep you happy. Ameen ya Rabb. But we'll go through them anyway. One of these habits was, I was just reading before I came, was when you wake up in the morning, make sure you have a natural alarm. People wake up, they're shocked. They're sleeping and suddenly like Big Ben goes off in their bedroom. Some alarms are like that. They're so loud that they shock you out of your bed, and the writer writes that this sets the tone for the rest of the day. You're woken up by a shock, and all the rest of the day is like a shock until you go sleep. So they say when you wake up, you should have a nice alarm, maybe like the sound of waves crashing or birds chirping, natural, or rainforest sounds, whatever, or the the sound of running water, gentle sound, mashallah, that wakes you up gently. You want to wake up, mashallah. Sounds so beautiful, so blissful. May Allah give us all a blissful life. I want to mention this point, a dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which says, Allahumma inni as'aluka 'ishatan naqiyya. Oh Allah, I beg of you, a 'ishatan naqiyya, a clean life. I mean, clean life, no headaches, no going before the courts and stuff like that. And may Allah grant us all this, 'ishatan naqiyya, a clean life, wa mitatan sawiyya, a comfortable death. That when a time comes to leave the dunya, when that time arrives, may Allah give us a comfortable transition with our loved ones around us, inshaAllah. And if the loved ones aren't there, then the angels will be around us with the kalima tayyibah on our tongues. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. This is such a valuable kalma, which is more valuable than the whole entire world. Kalima tayyibah la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah is more valuable than the entire world and whatever it contains. This kalima on our mouth, may Allah give us such a death. So a clean life, a comfortable death, وَمَرَدًّا غَيْرَ مُخْزٍ وَلَا فَاضِحٍ, and a return to Allah which is not dishonorable and disgraceful. So a non-disgraceful, dishonorable return to Allah. Isn't that amazing, my friends? There's a very good dua book called Hizbul Azam, and you should all read this. It's the tarjuma of my friend Dr. Mufti Abdul Rahman Magaris has done a fantastic tarjuma translation. You should get this and you should read it, and every day 1-2 duas. Read this to your children. Let them inform them of the amazing du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most beloved prophet of Allah, the beloved of Allah, the prince of mankind, the chief of mankind, none other than Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My friends, if you haven't read Durood Sharif, you should start. 1,000 Durood Sharif every Friday is a must. Why? Because before you leave the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you your place in Jannah. And when you see your place in Jannah, nobody else will see it, you'll see it. You will be mushtaq, you will long to go to that place. You won't be scared. You won't be worried. You will be looking forward, and you will have longing to leave this dunya and go to your place in the hereafter. You'll have full faith, inshallah, that Allah will look after your affairs, Allah will look after your children, Allah will look after everything you're leaving behind. When you go on a safar, you read the dua, don't you? Allahumma inna نسألك في سفرنا هذا البر والتقوى ومن الأمل ما ترضى اللهم حوّن علينا سفرنا هذا واطوي لنا بعده. And then you continue, اللهم أنت صاحبنا في السفر والخليفة في الأهل. Oh Allah, you are our companion, our guardian on this trip, and you are our protector in our families. So when you leave the dunya, inshallah, Allah, you'll have, when you see this place in paradise, you'll have no worries. You know Allah is protecting your family, mashallah. May Allah make us from these people. So make sure you read 1000 Durood Sharif. And Durood Sharif is very simple. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam is a simple one. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. 1000 times if you read this, inshallah, before you leave the dunya, you will see your place in paradise, inshallah. So please, if you haven't done so, do it now, inshallah. So this remedy, alumina, homeopathic medicine. What is alumina? Aluminum is oxide of aluminium. Aluminium is the most common metal on the earth. I think it's 8%, and it's never found by itself. It always joins with other oxides. You'll never find aluminum by itself. It's always joined up. So here is the clay. So it's made from oxide of aluminum, pure clay, by a method called trituration. Trituration means that the homeopathic pharmacies, the apothecaries as they were known as famously, chemists were known as apothecaries. Apothecary. So what the apothecaries would do, the chemists would do, is they'd get, you know, a small piece of anything that can't be soluble in water. So this aluminum oxide isn't soluble, it's not water soluble. So they have to prepare. Normally homeopathic medicines are made via a process of, you know, solutions, sequential dilution and trituration and sequentiation. But sometimes if the medicine is inert and it can't be, it can't mix with water, they'll use another process where they will get 10 parts of kind of lactose and mix it with one part of the medicine, and then they will, you know, grind it together, then get a piece of that, put it with 9 parts of another lactose and mix it together and keep doing that. After a certain stage, that mixture becomes water soluble, and then they continue with it as they would do a normal homeopathic remedy, which is water soluble. So this is made from aluminum oxide, pure clay, and it's basically, by this method, any potentially toxic effect of this substance is left far behind, alhamdulillah. And it's usually used to treat constipation, weakness of the memory. It's one of the big Alzheimer's dementia remedy. Eczema is amazing and very, very good. It's actually used for with good results for chronic constipation, where there is a lack of peristalsis action and the whole intestines are very, very dry. It's also very good for people who have chronic nasal discharge, and a lot of discharge from the nose, which is always very, very dry. It's very effective for that. But it's an amazing remedy for people who are mentally unstable. They have this duality. Duality means that they have kind of 2 personalities, and I'm seeing a lot of this in the clinic nowadays. A lot of cases with psychosis, and we went through this psychosis about 4 weeks ago. Schizophrenia, manic depression, bipolar disorder. And I want to mention right now on here that a lot of ladies, when they're expecting, their levels of omega-3 need to be really, really high, because the baby's mind and brain is made from these omega-3s. So anything the mother had, if she doesn't look after her intake, it'll be taken by the baby. And when she has then delivered the child, the baby, when she suckles the baby, and the baby is now breastfed, the baby is taking the rest of the omega-3s from the mom. The mom is the main source of nutrition for the baby. So the mom will be kind of, her omega-3 levels will fall, and then she is more prone to depression. One of the biggest theories of postnatal depression, causation of that, is this lack of omega-3s in the mother. And so much studies have shown this. So every lady who is expecting should be, in the last 2 trimesters, should be taking omega-3 fatty acids every single day. And then after, when she's breastfeeding, again. There's amazing triple filtered fish oil, which have no smell of fish, and you can take that safely. So it's a very good remedy for people with issues of the mind. They have this normal personality, and then they become like Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde personalities. They become very angry, they have hysteria, then they become very placid. This remedy is very good for that. In fact, this very, very good book, Homeopathic Psychology, if you see this book, it's amazing remedy by Philip M. Bailey, MD. It's got maybe 7-8 pages about aluminum. The unstable mind is very good for, impulsive, erratic mentality, and people who can't follow a train of thought. Their memory is very, 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 very weak. They have confusion, a lot of confusion in the mind of a person who needs this remedy. They can't make decisions. They will always give the decision to their family members to make. And also in this remedy, you'll have people who say that, look, where it's like they're not part of the picture. They have this sense of detachment, completely detachment. Some remedies have this detachment, like you have, your mind. If you're fasting for a few days, you get this spiritual state where you can observe your own mind making decisions, but you're still part of it. With this remedy, when you lose your sense of self, you're not there. You're not part of the surroundings. You see, which is what happens in dementia. You just don't exist. You're not there. So it's a very dangerous state. A very dangerous state. So if you get to that state, it's very dangerous. But if there are the symptoms where you lose this sense of self, then this remedy can help you tremendously. So loss of sense of self, sense of unreality, and a mental instability. When you're not stable mentally, it's a remedy for psychosis, a remedy for bipolar, manic depression. Alhamdulillah. So we're going to go for a break, inshallah. And after the break, we're going to quickly, hopefully, go through this aluminum picture, drug action, its role as a homeopathic medicine, like memory weakness, its role in there, inshallah. Then we'll continue with the 21 habits of happy people, inshallah. Please stay with us until after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.